Yeah. Buonasera a tutti. And we're having a drink, Steve, for Financial Fair Play releasing us from doing podcasting again. Thank you to le TAS, le Tribunal Arbitral du Sport, that, they told us that we're getting too many sponsorship. And we got, canceled. But hey, we're back. We're back, guys. And who's here? Larry, Frank, always the first one. Liban, Youssef, Pasquale, compare Pasquale from Toronto. Buonasera a tutti. And yes, it is a fantastic day, Frank, saying, we got some big points out of the big teams. And Soso is officially sold. That's a pretty good thing, Steve. It's a pretty good thing. Let's wait until everybody gets on. And it's going to be one of these, like last week, Steve, that there's going to be a lot of talking, me and you. We don't have that many questions, but hey, sometimes we take from the YouTube comments. Sometimes we got some comments from St. Lucia, Steve. St. Lucia.
Nice.
We're going to read those out. Good evening, Dino. David, what's happening? All right. So, Steve, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
You're ready. Let's go. I got to this one's for Facebook, Frank. He's going to understand. The FTW belt made it back, Steve, last week. Taz is no paisan. Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast. Here where we talk everything Milan. 10 points out of 12 contra le big Milan. And where we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be, ladies and gentlemen. And you could tell by the choice of our music.
We got yes, you see, everybody knows. Yeah, Survive If I Let You. This is all Taz. Peter Sonertia, he used to be. I met him at Starcast. He's about my height, Steve. You would like him. He's the suplex machine.
He's Chanalobulu's brother, or no?
No, not Chanalobulu's brother. What's happening, Milan? Miguel, you always see him there on the Twitter machine. But the guys, good evening. It's been quite the week, Steve, for us Milanista fans. And can we have asked for any better, Steve? Honestly, I think that was the whole discussion. We were talking at the bar. It was our first time back this Sunday, watching with the guys. And, we were just keep on talking about, hey, Steve, you know what? If I would have told you, you know what, Steve, Spal, Lecce, Roma, Lazio, Juve, Roma, we're just going to lose 2 points out of all those points. Who would have said no to that? And everybody probably said you're fucking crazy, right?
Yeah, no, you got to take the 10 points. A lot of people still have that bitter taste in their mouth from Spal. But I get it. But again, we're not. Everybody needs to manage their expectations. We're not going to go 38-0, right?
No.
It's not going to happen. If it does, to be very honest, that's a miracle team, and there's going to be a special spot for that type of domination, right? But ties do happen. The Spal again is in everybody's bitterness. But 10 points out of 12, guys, you can't ask for more. And to be very honest, we will talk about Napoli.
Yeah, well, let's start off into our Lenny. Walks with Lenny. He's over here at Petzipan. He's watching through Facebook. And you know what? Let's talk to the Juventus game. And I'm going to start off to Lenny. I hope he sees this. He might think this is the Four Horsemen, but it's for quattro palline. Steve, I want to say first off, to every single one of you at 2-0, it's over. Cancel the fucking season.
Sell everybody.
Here. To all
Sell everybody.
Okay. Am I saying that I thought we were gonna win? Absolutely not. No. But where in this day and age do we stop from fucking believing? Especially in today's soccer scene with all these subs, anything could happen. And I don't know what the fuck. I spoke to a couple of Juventinis and they were saying, yes, the penalty. Some people were going like, half. Yeah, the Bonucci. But in the one of my friends is like, well, where the fuck did those 3 other goals come from? And for one, Steve, we capitalized on their mistakes, did we not?
Yeah, we capitalized on the mistakes, and for the first time in almost 10 years, our midfield was more dominant than than Juve's midfield. Let's call it what it is, guys. And Juve fell asleep at 2-0. Again, talking with you, Vinny, talking with everybody else, chatting on Twitter. It was basically, guys, uh, Lazio had already lost before Juve played. So I think that had to do a little bit with Juve coming out a little bit less hungry. If Lazio would have won, I think they would have put the pedal to the metal more than they did, and they still came out, and took a 2-0 lead. Right, the Rabiot goal. Let's give credit where credit is due. That's a fantastic shot.
Great
And
shot,
there's
yeah.
not a lot of keepers that are gonna not a lot of keepers are gonna stop that. Right.
Our defense looked in shambles too, Steve, on both
Yeah.
goals, and I think there's a difference from what we've been, let's say, accustomed to, is that on both goals, Kajar and Romagnoli look like shit. They look like they were communicating, and somehow they just got back into the groove, and they were able to do it. And I think if you look at, people want to talk about Bonucci as, like, a leader, but I think you showed that he needs to be carried, because he couldn't fucking carry Rugani during that game.
No, he looked terrible, and Rugani looked like someone who hasn't played in many, many months. So look, we took advantage of that, right? And we scored when we had to score. We got back into it. I think it played a lot in the mentality. I think it had to do a lot with the Spal game too. That nothing's over. And Juve at 2-0. I think they thought that they were gonna cruise to a 2-0 win, and it was over, right? But Milan showed some balls for the first time in 10 years,
Yeah,
and came back, right? Was it the best Milan game? No. Was Juve at full strength? No. I'm gonna admit it to you, no. But again, that's not my fucking problem.
exactly.
And everybody's saying, this is the worst Juve team in 9 years. Guys, you were missing two players.
So
Exactly, it's your problem, and you have the second best player in the world, or 1A, 1B, right?
1A, 1B.
So it's enough, right? I don't want to hear these stupid remarks from you, Vendini. You lost. You looked, you looked a shell of yourselves. You did not look like the Juve that's been winning championship on top of championship, and it shows. And at the beginning of the year, we said, if Juve does not improve their midfield, Juve will not be able to progress in the Champions League. And again, Milan's midfield, Benacer, Kessie, they really had a good game in the second half. The first half left to be seen, but hey, the first half, the second half, they really put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, and Casey saying, Sarri looks stupid after a fourth goal, throwing in all the subs. I don't know if Sarri's going to stay next year. I don't know what's going on at Juve over there, but Lenny's saying we dominated for 30 minutes and deserved the win, no doubt. We did dominate for those 30 minutes, but I think Juventus let us dominate because they completely took their foot off the pedal. And the people want to talk about the performance of Milan, and we needed that performance, and we hoped that it came through against Napoli, which we're going to get into it. But just a little side note, we're talking about Juventus, and we're going to touch a bit base on the Atalanta game, and I just want to. Just like some Juventinis might have been not very happy about the penalty called on Bonucci, just the way some Napolitanis are not going to be happy about the penalty called on Bonaventura. But Steve, a lot of these kids say nowadays, don't hate the player, hate the game. Are we concentrating our hatred and our criticism in the wrong way? Should we not be mad at the rules and not at the actual, because guys, let's be honest, even against Atalanta, I'm sorry guys, those were legit penalties according to the rules.
According to the rules,
don't tell me Juventus needs penalties to beat Atalanta. No, according to the rules, guys.
But if we're going according to the rules, that Napoli penalty is not a penalty. That is ball on. He has foot on ball in the box, and Bonaventura goes down. That's not the handball, guys. The handball is a rule that needs to be brought up to the 21st century. And if you're gonna use VAR, Michael Lisi today tweeted out early this morning. I saw something. He's like, "Do you think we should bring in the area where a handball is actually called a penalty shot in the box?" It's hard, man. It was something that, what, you have to really think about, and like you're condensing that area even more. There's a lot of action going on in the box. I think that bringing it in a bit is something that um, would not benefit it 100%. It would fix a little bit of the problems, but I think you don't fix the complete problem. For me, that handball rule has to be a judgment call, right? And they have to state the fact of what is and what is not a penalty shot. Like, you cannot start calling penalty shots for the way someone's positioned in the box in a normal position. The normal position, guys, if you're running, I never saw anybody run with his hands behind his back. I'm sorry. Let's be
The
fair.
ruling is that if you enlarge your body, correct?
Yeah,
So
but
that's why the whole Bonucci, because his arm was kind of out like this. So
but
as long as,
your
but again,
body is
you're
always in that
supposed
position.
you're supposed to run this way.
No,
So
it's impossible. So that's why I'm saying you have to bring it to the 21st century, and like, again, we'll touch on it later if you want to talk about Juve Atalanta. The second one is like you're 19 feet away. It's not a shot on net. It's not a threatening goal. They should make, even maybe think about doing even an indirect
indirect,
or
yeah.
direct free kick from inside the box. Those used to exist when I played soccer.
So you're saying, Steve, that against Jack it was not a penalty, but he
No,
he did put his foot. Okay, so
it's
the
not a
ball
penalty.
was away from him, but he
It's
did
not a
trip him.
penalty. It's not
He
a
did
penalty.
trip him.
It's not a penalty. You touch
Okay,
the ball. There's no studs out. It's not a penalty,
it's
guys.
still a
That's
foul, is it not, Steve?
It's not a foul. It's not a foul. That's not even a foul. That you're taking away soccer plays from the game. That's not what we're supposed to do.
So VAR in the end, like, we've had bad calls go against us, we've had good calls go
Yeah.
for us, and we're gonna give or take. And that game, let's touch into the this. I think the VAR just has to be revised. And you were saying that to maybe do a smaller box, but then what happens, Steve? People are just going to keep on kicking towards those guys. It's like, oh, I'm going to get a penalty. I'm going to get a penalty.
Well, that's
But
why the rule has to be reworked. I'm not paid enough to rework the rule. That's for sure. Uh, I just want to see a fair call, and I want to see them be able to use VAR to make a fair call. But if and you're saying, are we gonna hate the rule? There's someone that's behind this rule. Someone creates these rules. I see people on Twitter throw me rules for every single comment I make. But then the game has to have its own life. The ref is there to manage the game and make sure that he's not the focal point of the game. The players, the 11 players on each side, are the ones who decide the game. I don't need to know. I don't need to have the ref have a 7 rating on Gazzetta dello Sport.
yeah,
I need the ref to be inexistent. If I don't hear the ref's name, I think that the ref had a fantastic game.
I found against Juventus the refereeing was not bad. That I have to say, like, it was. I found that the refereeing was good against Napoli. Okay, so you're saying that it wasn't a penalty, but in the end, let's take it from the beginning of the game. And I was joking around with the guys. I'm like, as Napoli's like, and Gigio standing on his head, right? As Napoli's taking all these chances, I'm like, guys, watch this. I go, this is exactly what always happens to us, right? I'm like, watch us take the ball one time and we're gonna score. What happens? Uh, Rebic with that beautiful sublime cross into Hernandez, it takes up the score 1-0.
There's a ball before that.
Which
Rebic's ball is nice, but the ball to get it to the ball from, I think it's, I'm even going to be surprised. I think it was Hakan's ball to Rebic. That's you don't see through balls like that anymore.
Hakan hasn't been playing bad, Steve. In the last
I have to give him credit. I shit on him all the time, but you have to give him credit. That ball, the through ball, is inexistent in this sport anymore because everybody's scared to make that pass or cannot make it anymore. So you got to give him credit. And Rebic finds Theo on the backside, and look, you take one nothing. But did they deserve to be up? No. But hey, that's what happens.
There was Benacer, Steve, Gigi
Benacer, whatever.
Abadad.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
it's a fantastic through ball. They like to correct us. They're like, because we're not
Yeah.
professionals, nor do we
Yeah.
pretend to be. Steve, in the end, we did get, for me, dominated by Napoli for most of the game. Okay, so you're saying the Soso call. Do you think the draw was a fair result?
No.
So you think that we should have lost this game?
Yes, 100%. Gigio Donnarumma needs to make those saves. If you want to get paid, if you want to be the best goaler in Italy, if you want to be the goaler of La Nazionale, you need to make those saves.
But on the other side, I would tell you is that those two first shots in the first 10, 15 minutes, he had no business saving those, Steve, and he actually did.
No,
So you're just saying, I'm trying to validate you,
no,
Steve.
there's no validation, guys. There's no validation. Gigi Buffon's paid to almost 4,000 games in Serie A. He makes those saves. Milan needs the keeper is there to make those types of saves. I'm sorry, if you're going to, again, if you're going to command that type of money and that type of transfer and that type of hype, you have to make those saves.
But we can't really shit on him because he's kept us in these fucking games all these the last 10 to 12 games, no? I'm saying yes. We like to nitpick. We like to nitpick, like, what they do badly. But in the end, I agree with you. I agree with you that I wouldn't have been pissed off if we would have lost that game. Obviously, like, somebody I mentioned before, the soccer gods for once go our way, and yes, that's what we once in a while we like to have it our way there. But no, I agree with you, Steve. But in the end, it's still a fight, right, for this fifth spot. Everybody coming up with wins this weekend. I know you. In the end, what would you, if you had the chance to, really be on a professional, with Gabriele Marcotti or something? Your take on this game is just like, were you frustrated? Were you pissed off? Or just like, Gigio, you need to make those saves?
I think it's a combination of everything. We were forgetting that these guys play 3 times a week, very, very demanding, and they're playing 3 times a week when the season is pretty much over, right? They're not used to playing in this, and I'm not going to give them the excuse of the heat and playing 3 times a week, but I think that last Napoli game it was away again. It was traveling to Napoli. I think they looked tired in the end. I think, look, Salchicha Maker didn't do us any favors getting a really stupid red.
What are we doing now? What are we doing next game? So Paquetá is going to have to play a whole game. And again, Paquetá getting subbed out at the halftime, I get it. And people saying that he was playing not too well, but he's not playing in his right position, Steve.
Yeah, no. It's rinse repeat for Paquetá. But my thing is, again, to be very honest, there was more dangerous chances that Napoli had where they could have scored, and he made those stops. And I think 2 mistakes from Gigio cost us 3 points. And we could have those are stolen 3 points. So there was no reason for Milan to be ahead, but hey, we ended up tying the game with that penalty shot, and I think that that the tie was unjust for Napoli fans, but as a Milan fan, I'm going to take it. The next couple of games, guys, are going to be tough. I think they're going to be tough. I think those teams that we're playing now are all playing well.
I like what you said about stolen. When was the last time we stole 3 points, right? Where a lot of times, like, we've always had those comments about these teams, whether it be, let's say, a Juve or an Inter, where they would play like shit, and all of a sudden, but they still got the 3 points. Nobody's gonna remember of how shitty they played. They're gonna remember those 3 points, and we haven't stolen 3 points. And no, you're right, Steve. You're right. If he, David's saying, like, he's gonna get a bit of a pass this time around, but don't let it happen again. But in the end, we can't really be that pissed off at Milan for, we haven't lost since the COVID break. No. Much better position than we are. But I think, on the other hand, Steve, I'm happy there's not like 15 games remaining, because I think a lot of Milanistas, their hopes will be way too high right now. Like, maybe we can catch up Inter. Maybe we can do do this. Maybe we could do that. But I don't know.
Mathematically, I think I'm not gonna say here 100% that it's even still possible, But the thing is that, remember, there's two teams that have to play, right? Milan has to win their game, and either Atalanta, Lazio, Inter have to lose their games, right? The race for the Scudetto was something that was very interesting, but Lazio did and we predicted it. The Lazio slump kicked in, and we also predicted the Inter slump kicking in.
Steve,
So,
we've predicted the Lazio slump every single year, calling them Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and every
and,
year.
and the thing is that it's not really their fault, right? They're just not deep enough. They lost two players, and they beat and they got beat by Milan. They had a 2-goal lead erased by Atalanta. Look, unfortunately, those teams there, it's hard for them to get deep because they keep on selling a lot and replacing with quality players, and they do make that run, but the slump is there, right? And who are we to talk? We're 20 some odd points away from them. But if you want to win the Scudetto, you have to be like Juve. You have to be able to play shit and still come up with a point like they did against Atalanta, right?
Steal some points once in a while.
Yeah.
That's what your grit and see what kind of players you could get you those points when they're not expected, but you still manage to get those points, and that's what we're lacking. We've been lacking for several years, right? Steve, Presidente, he did a nice little survey because since he retired from the presidential points, he's doing these surveys now, and I just wanted to pull it up for you, and I have to give it to him. He did not bad. If there's only room for one of them to remain with Milan next season, who would you rather keep, Maldini or Pioli? And 88% said Maldini, right, to 12% Pioli. Now, a lot of people, I'm assuming that 88% are speaking from the heart, but let's put this in perspective. Milan finishes 5th this season. Pioli does exactly what it was supposed to do. Team is playing with synergy. I think there's an argument for Pioli, Steve.
Pioli's the answer, Vinny. Pioli's the answer. Guys, I get this whole thing with Maldini, and trust me, I love him to death. The thing is that, unfortunately, guys, it's not only Maldini making the transfer, guys. Everybody's saying Maldini, great transfers. There was a Boban behind there. I'm pretty sure. Yes, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't speak. Masada somewhere in there. It's not one person, guys, but Pioli is that one person. Pioli has been that one who's been on the firing squad with no one from upper management, not Maldini, not Gazidis, not Masada, not Boban, ever, coming to that press conference, and when he's asked by Ragnick, be the one to shut up the reporter and say, we're not going to answer that question.
Yeah.
So, and he's the one he's a tinkerman. You understand? Everybody's going to say, oh, Steve, you're crazy. Vinny, you're crazy. Pioli can't stay. We're bringing in someone from Germany. We've got stoned since the last podcast. We understand he has no experience, but he's able to run some sort of team. He's able to create a project that we need so badly. I think if you have to choose, and you're choosing as a business, the person to keep there is Pioli, because he allows Ragnick to get his feet wet in a country that he does not know how it works. It's going to be very difficult for him to create that friendship that a whole bunch of other coaches or direttori sportivi have around the league, and to make a transfer, to make a loan, that's not going to come easy for him. So.
And what are the arguments for? I'd be curious to know, guys. Is that, guys, I love Maldini like as much as any of you, but what are the arguments saying no, we need to keep Maldini? What has he done? He's done good, don't get me wrong, but we keep on talking about this as a business, and we need to keep on thinking of it as a business. And we would hate for them to burn a Maldini like they've burned all these legends in the past, but guys, life goes on, and si tifano il giocatore per sempre le colore. That's the way I look at it there. But right now, as we speak, Frank saying Kekero was supposed to make sure Milan doesn't finish. I get it, but you know what?
That's not true. That's not true. Pioli was brought in to save Maldini and Boban's job, because Maldini and Boban selected Giampaolo.
And they said that if he made it to Europa League, he's signing for next year. So I don't think he was a caretaker. And the way I look at it, Steve, all these comments about Ragnick, and I still, guys, I'm sorry, I still don't believe that this thing is a done deal, because all these comments about Ragnick, I've heard them all before in Giampaolo. This guy, un maestro, he's done all of this, and even Giampaolo. What did we know about Giampaolo, Steve, before? And all of a sudden, everybody's an expert on Ragnick. Everybody knows what he's capable of doing, what he's going to do here, what he's going to do that, and I'm still not convinced. I'm not convinced about his attributes. I'm not even convinced he's coming. So I don't know where. Maybe call me crazy, but guys, until I see something official, and honestly, if Milan continue on this run, Steve, and I don't know, just lose one game for last 8, what kind of fucking team or what kind of fucking message will we be sending? Yeah, okay, Pioli, ciao. Let's
Oh,
pay you for another year.
we're sending the wrong message to everybody, not just the coaches, future players. This is going to be shambles, right? Gazidis has to find a way to be able to make Maldini happy and stay in a position where he can share the role with Ragnick, whatever they want to call each other. They want to call each other brothers. Hey, bro, what do we think about this transfer? Hey, gangsta. They can call each other whatever they want. Gazidis has to find that solution to keep everybody happy. You're gonna have Pioli on the payroll nonetheless, right? If he makes this European spot. If he doesn't, it's a way to clear one salary, and I get it. Again, it's all money and business, but it looks like it's gonna be, unless they really crumble in these final games and they really don't have anything left in the tank. I think he's gonna make Europa. So why not?
I think
And
so.
take Frank Facebook Frank's analogy as a caretaker. In the next season, he becomes a caretaker. He becomes someone who is at level with the players. He's someone who is going to guide or give Ragnick and Maldini some insight of what's happening in the locker rooms. He's going to be able to. He's someone with experience. He's dealt with terrible problems. But that's Gazidis' job. If Gazidis doesn't see this, and two people from Rivière des Prairies, Montréal, Quebec, Tabarnak, we
Call it.
understand it, then there's a fucking problem, Vinny, man. There's a
And
problem.
he got praise from Ibra, did he not? Ibra was saying, Pioli, he was saying a couple of good things about him. And oh, by the way, Steve, I don't know if you knew, but Ibra was mad when he got subbed out. This is big news. I don't know, like me, it makes me laugh. I'm like, guys, do you realize this is Ibrahimovic? He could do whatever the fuck he wants, and that he's mad. And I love that they're putting up these videos, these clickbait videos, and he's mad, but they're taking his comments from an interview he gave like 2 days before the game, right? They're just like,
Yeah.
anyways. In the end, he had balls to take him out, but you saw that maybe Ibra wasn't 100% all there, and he still did his thing from the bench there. But whatever, for me, Pioli is the answer for me. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions, but definitely Pioli. I love you, Maldini. On the Instagram machine, Facebook Frank Kimi knows that the Ragnick is coming, and he's asking us, what are your thoughts of Ragnick making Tonali and Soboslai top transfer target? Superfly. Me, I don't understand. I don't know where you get this information that we're gonna go get Tonali. We're gonna get the Suboslai. I believe it a bit more because of this 25 million that we're getting for Suso. They can't come back to that, right, Steve? It's written on paper. They can't we don't really want him. Like it's done, correct?
I think it's done. I think that was one of the bonuses was that if they make Champions League, they're gonna eat 25 million for Suso.
Okay, so yes, Suboslai, but Ragnick, Tonali, and Tonali, I don't see him coming to Milan. I think Tonali is going to go for big money or at Inter and you know what? When Inter went down with that papera today against Torino, I'm like, Conte, if they lose this game, Odeta is going to lose his fucking shit. Already they were talking that he might leave next season, whatever, but
they were also talking that Sun Ying wants 4 or 5 signings. He wants 9 or 10. I love this guy. He's the best. He's
Oh
the
man,
best, man.
we're
He's the
still
best.
thinking of him a Milan, guys. Let's not kid
Yeah.
ourselves. We're still thinking him from over there. What are our thoughts of Tonali and Soboslai? I would put that one there more, but you know the way it is, huh, guys. As soon as we mention a player, Milan is interested. He goes to another team for many millions more, but again, I definitely put Tonali. Steve, you actually believe Tonali?
I
Five
believe they're.
percent chance.
I believe that they're back in the race, and I think that till anybody is signed, and again, if Inter was the front runner and he's not gonna, if he for some reason doesn't fit in Conte's plans, which is what I was reading, because to be very honest, you, I think that's the worst move for Tonali, and I'm not saying it because I'm a Milanese fan. I just think that the Inter's midfield is pretty stacked, right? So they have Barella, they have Sensi, they have Brozovic. I get they need to upgrade on Borja Valero, Vecchino, and Candreva there, but
I
if
couldn't believe
Conte.
Borja Valero is still playing, but go on.
Yeah, but if Conte is gonna still stick with his 3-4-3, Candreva loses it to Hakim. Uh, then he's gonna have, he's gonna have Barella, Sensi. You invested money, right? You're gonna redeem Sensi from Sassuolo from that buy. You're gonna continue with Barella, barring injury. And then after, look, guys, I don't know where Tonali fits. He doesn't look like he's someone of a mezzala, right? But
Yeah.
the Tonali thing is different, is tough too, because Juve kind of needs that type of player, right? They need someone who sits back. They have Bentancur, and I think that would be a nice duo. But I guess we'll have to see what Juve's plans are, right? So
David brings up a good point. If we do get him, we're gonna have to sacrifice a Benacer or a Kessie.
I don't think so.
You can make them all coexist.
They can coexist. Yes.
I like it. Marko Zaninovic, hello from Croatia. After Napoli, do you agree we desperately need a new right back and right wing? So I guess not a big fan of Conti on that side there, but I don't know. Conti for me, Steve. I know he doesn't have the biggest fan club, but I don't know. I think it's. Do you think it's because people expected him? When he came, it's like, oh, what a great signing. He was such good.
But he was a great signing. He was a great
Yes.
signing. He missed 2 years, guys. You guys forget about that or what? He missed 2 years of soccer. 2 years of soccer, guys. 2 years of soccer. 2 terrible injuries. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know what you're gonna expect. Is he the best right back in the world? No. Does he do his job? Fucking right, he does his job. Against Juve, he took care of Ronaldo. Ronaldo's old, but he's still fast. Hey, Napoli, were they picking on Conte? Sure, but that's for our coach to exist. That's not Conte's fault.
Yeah.
Our coach has to adjust to that.
I know Greg, new fan, reached out to us. He's from St. Lucia, Steve. My first ever roommate in Ottawa was from St. Lucia. Great food. He was saying, like, he doesn't like Conte either. He was saying, like, how about allowing Sausage Maker to play right back? I'm not familiar from like his history or if he was able to play in that kind of position. But what do you think, Steve?
Not after he took that card against Napoli.
No, definitely. He was saying he had sent me a message, Steve, and he says, I do not always catch the live show, so I normally watch the next day. What time is the show on Monday nights? Because I want to listen live. I've been a Rossoneri fan since 1988. It was not always easy to follow Serie A, but thanks to technology, I can now be updated every single day. Two topics.
Grande.
I would like two topics I'd like you guys to discuss. Academy 11, which got away. He's saying, like, potential young Italians who could be part of the Ragnarok revolution because every young player he is reporting scouting is non-Italian. Do you think this will alienate fans and the team no longer features as many Italian players?
That's going to be a bitter pill to swallow. Milan have traditionally grown from the academy their Italian players, and when they had to buy, they brought in the Italian players, right? So this guy here, again, he's coming from Germany. I get that you want to buy this youth, but what does that say for your academy players that are in the academy right now, or future academy players that you want to bring into Primavera when the guy's project is completely...
hey, it's Greg. He's watching live. There we go. Hi,
Good
Greg.
job, Greg. Yes.
And Steve, I like the bitter pill to swallow because I don't know if I'd be ready to see a whole Milan starting 11 with no Italians.
No, 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 no. Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa.
We're not Inter. Like, I don't want to get to this.
No, 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 no,
But
no, no.
the young core. Who was our last like kind of a talent was what, Cutrone, right? Italian talent. And I know at one point, Berlusconi, us we have Forza Italia team. We're gonna have all these
Yeah,
Italians, but
the big person that got away from the academy, yeah, he played a bit there, but there had to be some sort of talent evaluation on Aubameyang and see how good he could have been.
yeah.
There should have been better use of loans and being able to bring him back. I'm sorry, but a player like that you cannot let go.
It's a good point, but definitely I'd like to see a bit more Italian play. And that's not just for Milan, Steve, because, I remember when we got eliminated by Sweden in the last World Cup, and there was the coach, I believe, of Ternana or something, of Serie B, and he lost it. And he was just saying it in a way, he's like, keep on bringing these young players from other countries. And he goes, we used to go, it goes, people were scared of us. He goes, how are we losing to Sweden? We go to Sweden, we're afraid of losing a game. He goes, look at the Italian core. And it's nothing to be racist or anything, but he goes, a lot of these players are coming from outside the country and they're taken away from these ones here. So it's not just a Milan thing. But then you have teams like, an Inter or, even to that matter, how many Italians are on Juventus that are actually on that starting 11, right? So in the end, hopefully we get resurgence, especially in Italian players. What else do we got? Steve, now we're going to go to the Twitter machine. And let's see what we got here. I don't know. Twitter there hasn't been that many comments, but Steve, I have to tell you something. Worlds collided for me yesterday. Worlds collided. On my Twitter is only for wrestling, right? I don't do anything else than wrestling. And our friend Rafael, he had followed me because we're trying to do like the Twitter, like I do a podcast for wrestling. So doesn't he he sends out that tweet yesterday? Guys, very, like, thank you very much. You guys are the best. And he tweeted out to you and he tweeted out to me. All of a sudden, Anthony Lopopolo follows you. I'm like, but do you guys read? I go, this has nothing to do with soccer. Like all on my timeline of all these soccer things. Man, I just want wrestling, Steve. I need to separate the wrestling from the soccer. But it's pretty
That's
funny.
what happens when you're famous.
Oh, yeah, very famous. Trash Boat.
Trash Boat.
Love it. Against Napoli, showed what we were missing in this team. Kessie and Benacer are great, but we needed a destroyer to make hard tackles and rough Napoli's player up like Gattuso. 2, a pass master, someone who can pass through ball in, from deep. From deep, you know what I think? Let's start with one thing. Let's get some quality players. But do we need Steve a Muntari to like another lumberjack?
No.
We've done the lumberjack,
right? You can't afford that anymore, guys. That doesn't exist anymore.
We got outclassed and outplayed by Napoli. I don't think maybe back in the 90s or 80s we could have taken one out with a harsh tackle, but nowadays it's it doesn't work that way.
Look, the VAR is taking away a lot of those types of players, right? That hard tackle that's a game changer can really be a game changer because it's a hard tackle at a point in time, and then we see it in super slow motion, and it makes it seem like as if he wants to take his knee off, right? And I was very vocal about the Rebic red card against Juve in the Coppa Italia. It happened again against Milan as well. Guys, we need to stop taking away soccer plays. You understand? Malicious intent to injure, yes, should be removed from the game, but it's not the same when it's live and when it's slowed down for everybody. When it's slowed down, it's frame by frame, and depending who's looking at it, depending who's sitting in his underwear with a canottiere after a Sunday lunch, is gonna say, "Oh, that's a red card. That's really crazy, Vinny. You want to take his leg off." You're losing the speed of the game. You're losing the speed of the game, and that's what's pissing me off. So lumberjacks, unfortunately, we've had our fair share in the past 10 years. The Flamini's. I don't want to see those guys anymore because
the Philippe Mexes.
Every player needs to be able to play a ball. Everybody needs to be able to have some soccer sense and contribute if you want to take it to the next level. So no to the lumberjacks for me.
And Greg saying, do you need to remind it that Montari did captain us against Juventus? Sole Montari. Guys, if ever you do have some questions on the YouTube, we're trying to keep up. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the comments, guys. No need to separate anything. You are a multi-dimensional melange of interest and hobbies. Thank you, Dave. Gattuso and Favalli would never made it in today's game. You got a point, Casey. I don't think Gattuso, Steve, and that kind of play, he wouldn't have lasted this long. I don't think so.
So Gattuso's a different story, just because he really, really knew his role. He really knew
and he was surrounded by quality.
Exactly, he was really surrounded by some world-class talent, and his job there, Casey, was basically recuperate balls, give to Pirlo. Recuperate balls, give to Pirlo. Pirlo would have dropped his shower bag. Gattuso would have picked it up and given it back to Pirlo. So, unfortunately, now what's happening is that Pirlo doesn't exist anymore, right? So, that type of player that had that type of vision and that range of passing is almost non-existent in this game anymore. So everybody needs to have some sort of vision to try to get that ball in the opponent's zone and in the final third to try to get something in the net, right? So
who was the other one? Felipe Melo. That was another. What a lumberjack that guy was. De Jong was a good lumberjack. Stam, but Stam was surrounded by quality as well. We had a few share of a lumberjack. Steve's, that was his favorite. Even Essien, when he came over, dude, he was a complete lumberjack. Like, he just taking yellows left, right, and center.
Oh, yeah.
What else do we have? Eddie Milanista, Steve, is saying, what is going to take to get Leao to put the effort that his teammates do? Benacer, Kessie, Rebic, Samu, hell, even Hakan run their butts off for the team and for the starting spot. Why do we not see that in Leao?
That's a very good question.
Youth, Steve?
I think he doesn't understand, maybe where he's playing and the jersey that he's playing for, how much that jersey weighs. Two, someone needs to tell him, and I'm pretty surprised that someone I don't know if Leao thinks he's Ibra, but that's becoming a little bit worrisome for me. Leao, you are not Ibra. Ibra in his prime would press and continues to press. Now at his age, he has to be a little bit more intelligent about the way he's playing, and I get he's playing that top man who is doing what he needs to do. This is what we needed Piatek to do when he couldn't do it when he wasn't scoring goals. When Zlatan's not scoring goals, he's drawing at least two-man marking in balls that are coming in the air. He's taking it down. He's giving time for the midfield to come up. Leao needs someone to rock his cage a bit and say, hey, it's time for you to either pick it up. And if we're going this Ragnick story and the way I read where he wants to press and how he presses, I don't know if Leao has a future if he doesn't pick up the pace. And that's a lot of money invested in someone that is not showing you the effort, especially when he's coming in for Zlatan and playing you that last either 45 or 30 minutes of the game. So
yeah, and I like what Frank's saying, make him play as a winger instead. Akbar, our friend from New Jersey, it's a good idea to buy Jovic. Who would you choose, Jovic or Zapata? Probably Zapata, Steve, just because of Serie A experience. Duvan, but it's but then, you know what bothers me with players like Zapata, Steve?
He's gonna come to Milan. He's gonna do fuck all.
But if he's such a great striker, and you can see he's got quality, how has he moved from team to team in those last couple of years? Unless I'm going crazy, did he not play for multiple teams in the last?
No, for sure. He touched Sampdoria. He touched Atalanta. Before that, too, he was going around. Look, I get it. He fits in a good system. You have to be careful. Guys, have we not learned from the Atalanta? Atalanta, for as much as I hate them, and I did dance when Juve tied, I did do a little dance. I did a little shake. I did it for Gasperini, and the game's gonna come. And if we beat them, I will dance for you guys live. But Atalanta's a system, and Faz puts it over here perfectly. Duvin needs the right midfield behind him. He's a great scorer, but there are games where he simply doesn't work hard enough. We just spoke about someone who doesn't work hard enough. Do we need someone else who doesn't work hard enough? And we're going to take him. And you go through the line of people that Atalanta has sold, and I tip my hat to them. The Mancinis, the Caldaras, the Contes, the Cristante after he left Milan,
Mm.
went to Atalanta, now back at Rome. These guys succeeded in that Atalanta system. And Frank came from that Atalanta system. But look, it's taken time. It's the you know it's
Started
taken
off
time.
started off good, and
It
then
started off
took that
good,
dip.
dipped, and then I'm choking because my mouth is so dry. But now look, Kessi, even Maldini coming out and saying, "È cresciuto come giocatore." He's grown as a player. They're still young, and I'm not saying the Mancini, the Cristante, and the Calderas will not come back and either have some sort of career, a great career, but they fit well in that Atalanta system. We don't have that Atalanta system. You
No.
have to be players. You have to buy players that are for and da Milan and fit in our system. But until you know what our system is, how are we purchasing players? Jovic, is he exciting? Great, yes, but he blew his knee. Do I want someone else? The terrible injury. Do I want someone else to come in injured? Yeah, we're taking a chance, but he seems to link up well with Rebic. Is that something that makes him we choose Jovic over Duvan Zapata? I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Cristante was born in Canada. Yes, Dino, I believe he's no, I think he's full Canadian. I don't know if he's like half Canadian, but I know he was born in Canada. What do we have here? Our friend Humud, Steve. Humud says, "Hi guys, given the games lined up for the team plus red card 2-2 with Napoli is okay. Napoli and Roma have two tough games coming up for each, despite Milan who has only Atalanta. Do you still want our team to play Europa League? Steve, I just want to beat Atalanta too."
Yes, sir.
Let's not take those comments from Ibra saying like, oh, we're not Europa League, this and that. Steve,
But,
if there's no financial fair play, because it doesn't seem there's any financial fair play, and there's not going to be any penalties, why would you not want to play in the Europa League? Make that money, no?
now, no, 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 no. I will play anywhere. But now,
Yeah.
if I'm Elliot and I just saw what happened to Manchester City, it's time to, like my son's been playing Fortnite and he arrives at that chest. He opens the chest and shit pops out. Guns, juice to protect him and shield him, grenade launchers, medical kits. I would throw everything. If I'm Elliot now, I'm throwing every shit penny that I am, and I'm building myself a team. You don't want to. Manchester City doesn't get penalized. Come and penalize me.
Well, hold on a second. The difference is that they got penalized because they did not like their sponsorship money the way it was coming. And Letas came out and said, we did not find anything irregular from your sponsorship. Us, it was different. Us is that we spent way more than we actually made. So what is Singer going to sponsor? What, are they going to go find us a sponsor? They're going to go give us $100 million for the year?
Let's do it. Manchester City do it. My next phone call, if I'm Elliot, is, hey, Manchester City, how the fuck did you do that? Because I'm going to do the same thing here in Italy.
They should, because that's a complete fucking joke. Right?
I don't mind if my Milan is competing for fourth place, and Milan is getting back to a level where we can get to first place, win Scudettos, back into Champions League. Do I give a flying fuck if Elliot is written on? I want Elliot to sponsor me. Goddamn, make Argentina my sponsor. They bought the country. I want to be sponsored by Argentina. Argentina across my back, across over here. And you know what? Let's go sign Messi and put 10 on his back, get away from Hakan, put a proper 10 on Messi's back. Argentina, Messi with Milan. Beautiful.
I think that could be an idea, but we could probably agree on both of us that are a fucking indigestion of is this.
Oh, yes. This is a common indigestion. I am shocked. And the thing is, like, everybody said, PSG and they're going around. They went around. They found a loophole and went around the financial fair play. Financial fair play had to learn from that and not make it happen again. Not only did financial fair play not learn from that, They fucking made them do it again, and another team is getting on. Now everybody's pissed at financial fair play. So the thing is that you're gonna see teams that, example, Newcastle, brand new owner. They're gonna look at, hey, Manchester City didn't get punished, so
They,
I'm
they,
gonna
they set
start.
a precedent, Steve. They set a precedent because even though now you made a decision by letting them back in. So now, what are you going to do now with the other teams come up? Well, hold on a second. We looked at the report and we did exactly what Manchester City did. Here are our sponsors, and it's legit money. How are they going to turn back from there?
No, this
Or
is
in the end, Steve, it's always money talks. Is it not?
money
It's always
talks. So Juve did the same thing with Jeep, and they didn't even get to the tribunal. So their accounting is even more fantastic than that of Manchester City's and PSG. But again, we said it multiple times, and we're always talking about this with financial fair play. If it continues, because after this, I don't know how it continues, and how a team is going to accept a punishment from either UEFA or the TAS after seeing this ridiculous ruling here, with not even a fine. When and I'm not even talking about Milan. I'm talking about the Inter. I'm talking about Roma. Guys, Roma, for all as much as I shit on them, are in a terrible financial mess, and they were in a financial mess, and they got out of financial fair play.
Mhm.
So I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I'm an accountant, but those penalties on Roma could have kind of like helped them maybe not sell certain players,
Inter,
and
same
maybe
thing.
Inter, same thing. Inter was lucky enough to get an owner that had money, had a plan to get them out of there, and they did well too. They sold from they sold from their Primavera. But why? Why is it only on Italian teams that Inter has to sell? Man City didn't have to sell anybody from their Primavera to get out of financial fair play. No one else seems to be.
Or is it
Seems
somebody that they can't find a sponsor, Steve?
you know
Who would go sponsor Roma or Inter 4 or 5 years ago? Right?
yeah.
To the lengths of money wise that Manchester City, oh, it's City, we're going to Champions League, and there's all
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And Roma has traditionally throughout the years started a lot of times. Talking with John Solano from Roma Press, they did start a lot of times with no sponsor, right? And either
Mm,
because they couldn't find the sponsor, or the last one that they did have to start a season, and basically at the beginning of the season, Serie A passed a rule that said, "Hey, we're not going to put." Uh, you're not allowed putting any gambling sites as
yeah.
your main sponsor. Well, shit, that's if you the timing is fucking terrible, because you're gonna start the season, almost sold half your team, and now you have no sponsor. You lost all kinds of money, right? So we shit on Roma a lot, but they've been really hard pressed to get out of the financial fair play, and seeing a team like City with as much money as they have, and have spent throughout the years to win absolutely jack shit, unless they win the Champions League this year, because they lost the title to Liverpool. Maybe the,
Uh,
the, the spending is not the solution, right? And
I'm just reminded. I'm sorry because I was just gonna tell him like, where the fuck is Disney when you need it? And then I started remembering. Do you remember Napoli having De Laurentiis's movie posters
movies,
on top of
yeah,
their
yeah.
Fast says in just an honorable mention was Gasparini being annoyed with the Napoli fans and the other Atalanta dirigente calling him Notarrone del Cazzo. And he's like, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, I saw that passing
Yeah.
on the sports media set. So we both agree on that in the Justin. How about a feel good? C- c- other than this, Steve, what other feel good moment did we have this week?
No, it's gonna have to go back to Wednesday for me. It felt good. I
Yeah,
had a lot of regular, normal Juventini fans, like Lenny walks with Lenny. Like really say, "Hey, Milan played a good game and we deserved it." Right? I
yeah.
would have liked, and I'm not gonna lie, I would have liked to have a controversial goal go in off someone's hand, and get back to them with that and win the game like that. But look, coming back from 2-0 down and to scoring four against Juve, and Chesney, he got a little bit of that Juve in him and told Rebic to not stop acting like he's a superstar. You're losing to nothing, and then Rebic ends the game with the 4-2, right? So Chesney got a little bit, and that felt good.
Oh yeah, that
If
felt.
that's true, that felt good, right? Shut your mouth, Chesney. You're only playing in the nets because Buffon is too old, or else they wouldn't even have had you to begin with.
And obviously, like you were saying, the next morning it was not great. Yes, good Milan, but what's wrong with Juventus? How come they
Oh
lost
yeah,
this
yeah.
game?
The next
You
day,
know,
and I tweeted that on purpose, Vinny, because
yeah.
I knew it was gonna happen. It was like, oh my God, what's wrong with Juventus? They let four goals in. Oh, la grinta di Candini. Hey, Milan just put four behind the champions. Four.
Nobody could.
Go
No,
back in the schedule. There's not. They let four goals in four straight games. This is four in one game, guys. You got to give credit to where credit is due. They played a fantastic half an hour, and we got the result.
there we go. So I know, Steve, you gotta do some sort of testing with Presidente after this podcast. So we're gonna finish it off just under the hour mark. But very quickly before we let go, what do you think is gonna happen with Rebic? Now we're talking about him. Supposedly, price tag is obviously gonna go up. They ain't gonna take Andre Silva for Rebic. You think we got a chance? Maybe the money for Soso, we're gonna be able to sign Rebic. People want to talk about Superfly and all this guy
But
and this
there's a
money from
fixed there's
Suso.
a fi- there's a fixed price for Rebic, no?
I remember seeing 25 guys on YouTube. Let us know in the comments. I believe it's 25, but I don't know if it's a fixed. I know it's a 2-year loan, right? That I remember. But I know it was a straight swap. But, what if we should double check, say what? If we decide to buy him and what? Even Andre Silva's going to come back. I don't remember. If any of you guys know, let us know. But I don't know if it was like a fixed, but they have to buy him at this point, no, Steve? Unless he
Yes.
takes a
I th-
huge dive.
I think that I was reading, and it's from milannews.it, fantastic website. I had the chance
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
to interview Pietro, a fantastic guy. Caught him right before he was having dinner at 9 o'clock. So look, guys, I think it was saying that a little bit has to do with what Frankfurt needs to give back to Fiorentina because he was owned by Fiorentina. There's like a resale. There's like a portion of the future
Yeah,
sale that
yeah,
has
yeah.
to go to Fiorentina, so it might complicate things or might make things might make things even better for us, right? So we'll see what happens with that.
I was saying, Rob, Trevor's saying a reading between 25 to 40. Yeah, Akbar, it was a straight swap, but there was a fixed price if ever wanted to buy them at the end.
Yeah,
Steve, what did. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Casey's saying it's 25. That's what I read too.
That's what I had read too. But now, Steve, we have upcoming games, right? Let's go through this very quickly. So Milan is playing on Wednesday. We got Milan at home versus Parma, but I love this no crowd thing because we're playing a lot better. Should be able to win this game, correct, Steve? What do you think?
The way Parma has been playing the past couple of weeks, yeah, but I said it again, after a
Did
real
you see what the
hectic
fuck they
month.
did on Sunday? Sorry, did you see what they did? Parma. They scored 2 goals after 90 minutes and tied up the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Wow,
So that's what
wow.
I'm saying. You have to be, and I'm happy it happened to someone else. So Milan should be watching that tape and
Yeah.
not let down their guard. There, they have Inglese and Gervinho and Kuka always
Just
scoring. Yeah, always scoring on a penalty shot. So I need them. We need Milan to not make the same mistake we made against Spal and show up for the Parma match. And I think if Parma goes well, the other ones they're gonna have some good challenges from those other teams, Bologna, Sassuolo. So.
and then we go against Bologna, right? So, guys, don't. I know what you're thinking. Hey, well, this is going to be another 6 points. Relax, because you're thinking exactly like we thought against Spal. These are games that we can't fuck around, right? Let's see what Pioli has up his sleeve. Sausage makers red carded, Steve. We're gonna have to change it up, right?
Yeah, he's gonna have to change it up, and I think he has the players with the turnover to change it up. I would like to see them come out hungry and kill the game right away against Parma. But again, always tough against Parma.
Exactly. So, guys, once again, from every corner of the world, watching, listening, love it, guys. Thank you so very much for joining us. I think the more we continue, Steve, with all these questionings, and sorry to anybody that sent us these messages on Instagram. I figured it out. There's messages, Steve, that people actually write to you, and then there's stories. And I think you could put a story on your profile. I'm getting there. We're gonna figure it out. But no, definitely thank you to all. And it seems like we're gonna be going more with these types of questioning, anything, especially through YouTube. And you guys are awesome. And you guys interact as much when Milan plays better. So let's keep it up.
Exactly. We need for the channel. We need that, but we also need you guys to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and please, guys,
Touch wherever it is there.
Yeah, touch wherever it is, somewhere around there. I don't know where it is, but guys, we need your support. We need to get to 1,000. We want to, and it's not for fame and glory. It gives us it opens up some more options for us to do things via mobile. So get us to 1,000 subscribers. We appreciate all your views and your listens.
If not, you guys are going to be stuck. We're going to open up a Patreon. You're going to have to give us $2 each a month, right?
President is vetoing that. He vetoed the Patreon.
This is our channel. We'll give. What are we giving Steve, to all whoever wants to give us $2 a month? What are we giving them as a special? A watch along with Presidente. How's that?
Yes. So they put your kids to sleep, kind of lullaby. Watch along with Presidente as he watches his Milan, Vinny. As he watches his goal.
Or we're gonna make him watch. We're gonna do a watch along of him watching like a Maldini video where he's just gonna be like, or Bonaventura, Giacomino mio. Yeah, coffee at Chocharo's. We'll see if we could get there this weekend once again. But guys, thank you so very much, and we'll definitely interact some more. Do what you gotta do, guys. We love it. Ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan, Forza Milan, 4 petine contro la Juve, Forza Milan.
Ciao.